So I have a script for like this entire video, except for my introduction. So I'm Leigh. I am here. I live in northwest England. I am 18, just finished college, except for 2 exams this week. And I'm a film student, and I'll be going to uni in September, which is why I'm so pissed off about this shit. I was born in 1998. That year in the UK, tuition fees were brought in, £1,000 a year. Before that, it was free. You still had to pay for accommodation, obviously, but actual university was free. The rates have fluctuated in those years, and now, in 2016, they stand at £9,000 a year. And the government have just released a plan to allow certain universities to raise that even higher, and also to allow companies to start private universities. Last year, they also got rid of the maintenance grant, which was for poorer students, which was some money for accommodation, rent, all that kind of stuff, that you didn't have to pay back, and now it's a loan, so you do have to pay it back. Education is being run as a business. Teenagers are being plunged into £30,000+ of debt before they're even 25, with no actual guarantee that they'll get anything out of it, because a degree does not guarantee you a job at all. Governments of rich old people who went to university for free or paid for by their rich parents are squeezing working class young people dry. They'd rather loan us what is to them a small amount of money and then pull it back out of our wages for our entire lives than actually invest in education. They'd rather young people are terrified with tens of thousands of pounds of debt hanging over their heads than actually feel like they can get an education that takes them to where they want to be without fear of going bankrupt. A couple of stats which are actually about Trident but show how the government is spending money. The government wants to spend £100 billion on new nuclear weapons. For that money, we could scrap student tuition fees for the next 30 years, saving students from a debt of up to £27,000 each. We can employ 150,000 new nurses and teachers every year for over 30 years. So, the government doesn't care about you. They care about themselves. They don't care what happens when they're gone, and they're making that very clear. This, of course, is no new thing. Rich people running the world purely for rich people is an age-old tradition. It always comes back to that. It always comes back to the fact that the people running things are not running things in order to make people happy or fulfilled or educated or even healthy. They're running things to make the most money they possibly can. Or they're running things out of fear. Fear seems to be a pretty major player in politics at the minute. It always has been, but I feel like it's especially prominent at the moment. People are afraid of immigration, trying to get Britain to leave the EU, afraid of war, plunging money into nuclear weapons programs. People afraid of everything are fucking things up for the rest of us. This is why it always comes back to communism or socialism for me. Even just the words themselves say so much. Capitalism, the world is run for capital. Whatever makes the most money wins. Socialism, the world is run for people, the social pleasure things provide. Decisions are made based on what will make the most people happy. Communism, the world is run as a community. We all pitch in and we all get back out. We look after the community and the community looks after us. And the thing with universities at the moment, to get back to the point, is that they're not community-based. They're money-based. Universities take on students who they think will get good grades to make them look good so they can get more students and make more money, etc. Which is a problem with all of education, actually. Teachers largely don't care about grades because they want you to do well. If they wanted you to do well, they would make sure that you had a good, solid understanding of whatever it is they're teaching, rather than just memorising facts and numbers and dates and blah, blah, blah. Some teachers are better at caring about your actual understanding than others, but I digress. They care about grades because the better your grades are, the better the school or college or whatever looks. They care about grades because it reflects on them. Tuition fees are abominable. They shouldn't exist. They're blatant evidence for the rich only wanting their rich children to get educated. They want us to remain uneducated and afraid and unable to fight back. If the poor are too afraid to go to university, then they won't learn and they won't fight back, right? They won't come after the politicians and try and make a difference. But we will, and we are. We will make this change. We can't keep going backwards.